Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to do a tin foil embossing. Emboss means to make it raised or come out of the picture. If you look at some of these samples I did, you can see that they sort of pop out of that background. It's not something I drew on, it's something that when you feel it, you can feel those bumps. Now I included two different ways to finish it off, plus a way basically not to do it because I found that out a little bit the hard way. This one I just finished off using some Sharpie markers. Some people call this foil painting because it looks like it's painting. This one I finished off with shoe polish. That's how you get that sort of antique-y look on the front. This one I didn't finish off at all. You can see the difference here, how this one's much lighter, and this one you can see all those creasing indents in there. It looks really nice. This one I pushed too hard on. You can see on both sides it's sort of starting to pull up. Now, if you'd rather just pull some of these off and keep that and maybe change it up, go for it. But I found if you keep it one piece, it usually looks a lot better. This is because I ended up using too sharp of a tool to push down my aluminum foil. I'll show you how not to do that later on. But whenever you push down, start with something soft like a Q-tip where you can get in all those little edges and smooth it out, and then go back over it, with something that's a little bit sturdier and lightly push down with a pencil. I was using the edge of a paintbrush for mine, and it turned out to be a little bit too rough of a surface to do right off the bat, okay? So some of the materials you're gonna definitely need. First off, you probably want a piece of cardboard. Now I chose a very flimsy piece of cardboard, not for any particular reason, just because I don't need one too thick for this. You just need to worry about your surface. Make sure your cardboard doesn't have too many wavy lines or indents, otherwise it'll probably pick up on your aluminum foil. A pack of aluminum foil, and you're going to need some scissors to cut the foil, probably some tape to tape it around the back. You want to decide on what kind of glue you can use. I'd say anyone who is probably kindergarten through 4th or 5th grade, I'd recommend using some school glue. Elmer's, it works really nicely to make some really good lines. I'm going to, however, use some hot glue just because for me that's easier to hold and make some good lines with. Other things that would be beneficial for you, like I said, Sharpies or shoe polish, depending on how you want yours to finish off. You're also going to want maybe some stick glue just to keep that foil down, a pencil to get in those edges and also to design your picture from the start, and a Q-tip. The stick glue is not necessarily something you have to have for the project, but it does help quite a bit. All right, so let's get started. First step is to draw out your design on the cardboard. I chose to do a tree with sort of a sunset in the background. You can do whatever you want. I've seen this look really cool with snowflakes and words. Different hearts or flower designs are really great ideas too. This is completely up to you. There are no restraints on your design for this kind of art. So I think that's super cool. I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. Let's try it out. After you get your design down is to actually glue. If you're using a glue bottle, you just want to go along those outside lines that you made. For me, I'll be using a hot glue gun, so I'll go ahead and do that. If you're not using a hot glue gun, sometimes the glue doesn't dry in a bump form. Sometimes it just sort of falls flat on your paper. If that's the case with the kind of glue you have, I suggest putting a piece of string on top of your glue. That way it really pops out of the page and gets that good embossed look. Okay, so now that hot gluing's over, it's time to get your aluminum foil out. Make sure you measure that it's the right size. Yep, that'll fit perfect. Now, there's two different sides to the aluminum foil. One of them is the lighter side, one of them is the darker side. I like the way it turns out better whenever you use the darker side. So take your bet which kind you want. but I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Now when you put it on, what I did first is sort of rub it out to make sure it fits on your aluminum foil. Make sure that before you do this, that you have a little bit of extra on the sides, because what's gonna happen is some of that aluminum foil is gonna pinch in, causing the rest of it to sort of pull together. This is why we do this step first, and I just use the side of my finger, especially in these little areas like this where it comes to a point. Try not to rip it right away, because that can be an issue, but make sure it gets pushed down in all the little crevices. Ooh, I can tell that's where my sun is out there, or my moon, whichever one I wanted it to be. Okay, now I can see where everything is. What I'm gonna do now is take my little glue stick and just lift the corners and come back up. Now, the parts where your hot glue was, if you use hot glue or regular glue, make sure your glue dries if you're using this kind before, otherwise your aluminum is just going to sort of push it down. If you have any big areas like right here where it's like really open and there's no glue, that's where I'm gonna stick my stick glue. Some people like to put stick glue on the whole thing beforehand. You're welcome to do that. For me, I just like I already using hot glue, so it'll stick to it just fine. I'm just gonna pull up the edges where it's not sticking so well. Okay, now you can fold it over to the back. And I'm just gonna fold each side in. And for this part, you can use the stick glue to keep it on. For me, the kind of cardboard I used is laminated, so it's gonna be a little bit harder for it to stick. So when I'm done, very careful on this part. See, I'm ripping it already. Yikes. Okay. On this next part, think about, there we go. Maybe getting some duct tape, regular tape, whatever kind you have, to hold it in. I've actually heard that duct tape works really well as a substitute for aluminum foil. I don't see why not. It seems like it would be a good substitute to me, but I haven't tried it out. So if you do try it, send me a picture to let me know how it works. Cut that off. If you have too much aluminum foil on the back, you can use your scissors and cut that too. Okie doke, so now I'm ready to do the embossing step. Like I said, embossing is basically making something pick up out of the paper. Just from my pushing down a little bit, now you want to be careful, like I said, you can start to see that tree forming where it's at, where it's going around my picture. Especially when the light hits it just right, you can see those main spots over here and my sun right there. Like I said, Q-tip works really nice. That way you can get in all the little spots. I would start in the middle and work your way out. That way any bubbles you have are going to be nice and tight there in the middle, and sort of push it into the corners without breaking it. I'm going to start by going light, like I said. See how nice and pretty that's looking. Looks good. Try not to scratch any lines into it.